with my co-host, Caleb Swag. How's it going? How's it going? Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Good seeing you. Oh, wow.
All right.
Little jellyfish. Are we seeing?
Hi!
Hey!
I just met you guys! Hey! Woo! You having a good time? Yeah! Awesome! Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. Long time no see. You guys are great.
All four of us now. It's like we're starting a boy band.
Old man, younger man.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Hey, you guys are
First generation, second generation.
Hey, we're down. I'm down.
All right, good.
All right.
I'm down.
All right.
All right.
Now we're going to sit down.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. All right, well, it's been a hot minute since I've seen you guys. I know the last time I saw you guys just started Heart of the Cards around that time.
Yeah.
How's that going?
We're having a great time. Heart of the Cards is the name of our podcast. You can find on YouTube at Andromeda Productions. If you come by our table, we have a QR code that'll take you right there. And we describe it as a conversation about creativity and inspiration and dealing with what you're dealt, which basically is another way of saying we all have things we want to do, and there's stuff that can get in the way of that, and stuff that can help with that. So it's not a show about how to play Duel Monsters. I'm so sorry for those who were hoping to look at. But I don't know how to play Duel Monsters, so you would not want to take advice from me.
But he can still beat you.
That's true, because I am the king of games. But that's only if I have good writers.
Yes.
So, yeah. But thank you for asking. So, and Eric and I were literally just talking backstage. A number of you who have already, has anybody listened to the Heart of the Cards, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we have been so grateful that you are listening, but that you're reflecting back what you find good about it, and it's exactly what we were hoping the audience would take from it.
Yes.
So thank you for listening, and if you haven't given it a shot, give it a shot. We got over 20 separate episodes. They're numbered slightly differently, but yeah, it's been like almost 6 months now, and yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, and what's really wonderful is that so many people are creative out there, and they're on their own journey to try to figure out how to fit that into their lives. And Dan and I have an opportunity to talk to each other and share our own experiences, which maybe would give you the motivation to pursue your own path. One of the mantras I have on the show is the two words that I dislike the most when it comes to your journey is to ask yourself, what if? Because honestly, the difference between succeeding in the business or the career choice that you want to do and not succeeding is not necessarily that pot of gold, but it's that choice to even attempt it and to get on that journey and enjoy the process. Those that don't succeed are the ones that never try. So we talk about that, and this is such a creative environment as well.
Who here wants to create something? Who here wants to do performance or art or whatever?
Right.
Right. So that is obviously going to speak to you, but for those of you who didn't raise your hands, you're still creating your life. Life itself is an inevitably creative endeavor. And in our earlier conversations, we used the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, hero's journey. It's a relatable way of looking at anything you want to try to do with your life. So you don't need to know anything about Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! To understand the conversation we're having. And we don't presume to be the experts on anything. We all have things that we want to do, and we all have things that we have succeeded at or failed at. But yeah, so
yeah, and we share all of that. And actually, I just have to point out today it was a very special moment when you read me some of the quotes from the show that I said. Of course, the show, unlike everything else you might know us for, is not scripted. Right. We have a conversation, and we have a starting point, we have a conversation, and then it's just that organic flow between us. But you read me back some of the words that I had said, and at first I didn't hear you say, here are some of your quotes. I thought you said, here are some inspirational quotes, meaning just to share with me. And when you read the first one to me, I went, wow, that's really powerful, that's great. And then she said, yeah, you said this too. And I was like, oh, did I say the first one? Oh, wow, thank you. I'm very flattered that I enjoyed my own voice. And
it would not be the first time that Eric admired himself.
I have to stay in character sometimes, right? Yes.
That's absolutely
Yeah.
awesome. I know that he had a question.
Yes.
I do?
Yes.
You do.
Oh my goodness. Do you guys ever,
Yeah.
you ever are like arguing? Have you ever argued like in,
I don't remember us arguing.
Yeah. Questions, oh yeah.
Yeah, but if we did, I was right.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Always was, so.
Yeah.
of course.
It's again, King of Games. It's the right.
No, I mean, to be quite honest with you, we actually had a nice little heart-to-heart last night. I mean, our friendship has really become super, super strong over the, what it was.
Last 5-6 years.
Yeah, and so I mean, as much as we play rivals on the show, and people think that maybe we don't get along, and of course sometimes we play around like that at conventions. We pretend we don't. But like honestly, Dan is probably one of my closest friends ever, and we have a very solid relationship.
Same.
Yeah. So I think if we had a disagreement, we would probably just discuss it.
Yeah.
Are you better friends now than you were?
Oh,
when
for
you
sure.
were-
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
For sure.
Well, I was directing the show at that time, so I was kind of even more of a jerk.
Oh my goodness, man.
And I was a total diva.
Yeah. So that made things very difficult.
Works out. It's like
But
the
that's
show.
how we originally met. I mean, we had been working on other shows in the past as actors, and we'd sort of cross paths as
Right,
maybe one would
right.
be leaving the studio and the other one was entering, because we all dubbed solo. We worked individually in the studio.
And now that I think of it, it was because Eric said, "Hey, Dan, why don't you come do a convention with me?" That really started a whole new chapter
Yeah.
in the development of our friendship. So it's occasions like this that created or deepened a whole other aspect to our relationship. So in a way, you guys are to blame.
And honestly, the way that personally for me, the way that you make me feel, that the work that I've done has made a difference, has entertained you, has made you happy, has been something you can connect to, is very humbling and very flattering. But I also, as someone that dragged him to do this and said to him, "You really need to be part of this community. I really think you're going to enjoy this." The way that you have treated and embraced Dan, even though he is not, I don't know how he gets those cards out of, maybe he pulls them out of his hair during the game, but it is really very sweet. And I think that that's one of the reasons why the two of us are continuing to do events together, is because after that first event and he felt the love, this is what we should be doing. So thank you for embracing.
By the way, I call that maneuver on the you pull it out of my ass card. But
What was difficult about, why did it take some form of convincing to come to a convention? Were you kind of closed off to that idea?
It was never about me not having respect for the fans. But I was always working. I was always like, oh, well, I'm busy doing some other things. And then also, I don't think I really understood the way people regarded some of the things that I've done. So again, that wasn't a form of disrespect. It was just more of ignorance.
Yeah.
So and I'm a pretty ignorant guy. So.
Well, and as someone who is not Dan, I will tell you, as he is a fantastic actor, writer, great artist as well, but also a very self-effacing person. So to think, people would like to actually meet me,
that is not my DNA.
That's going to be part of this, and I'm like, I don't think you even have a clue. But let's also give a shout out to the Collectacon peeps, everybody that runs
Absolutely.
this event.
Thank you for Collectacon.
This is great. It's great format, a great way for you guys to hang out, meet each other, meet us, and we enjoy it. It's
That reminds me, another cool thing that happened more than once this weekend. A couple of people who came up to my table said, "This is my first time. I've never been to one of these before." And I asked, so when you got here, was it like you felt like you found your people? And they're like, yeah. It was like, isn't it great? Because there's a shared experience, and you can sort of know people without even having met them before. It's a wonderful community.
Yep. I mean, I've said that many times before. I really feel like the acceptance, the diversity, the quirkiness, the creativity. This is sort of like the template that I wish the rest of the world would follow at how we treat people and interact. It's a very inclusive environment, and that means a lot to me. So.
Exactly.
Right. I do have to ask, I know that both of you are very creative people, you with music, you with the art that you do, just like you guys are creative in a multitude of different ways.
Thank you.
I do have to ask, how much does that come into a lot of the different projects you did back then as well as now?
Great question. Do you want to take that first?
Okay, you can start.
So in terms of having multiple forms of creative expression, I think you can, in a way, compare it to cross-training, right? So if I'm thinking about a story that I want to write, it always is, it's related to what you do as an actor, in a sense. And when you're acting, you're telling the character of a story within the story, right? But you're also telling the story of the character, and they have the story inside them, right? But every character has a function in the story. So thinking about how to write a good scene is also, when you get a scene as an actor, you're understanding, oh, this is important. My character needs to be here for this reason or that reason, and stuff like that. That's just one example.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the crossover between singing and voice acting has always been, very connected. Inflection is pitch,
right,
and using the same instrument that way. I jump around to the different things that I like to work on. I do have the benefit of working out of my home, so I can take those breaks and step away from that. We were just talking about this recently on a podcast in terms of the creative outlets. Like, I even like to do DIY projects around the house as a creative outlet, because that too is a way to, okay, I'm going to do this right now, and okay, I feel like writing a song. You know what? That's not happening right now. Oh, I'm going to work on some voiceover stuff or whatever. I think it's all connected as a person. Yeah.
All right, well, we are about to wrap it up because we are cutting it close.
Are we
Yeah,
doing
sorry,
only because I got to catch a flight soon, so we want to be able to get back to our tables before.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hold off on the questions
Okay.
from you guys. We love you guys, but I know that Caleb had one more thing to ask.
No, let's have them.
I think we can do a quick Q&A. Let's do a speed round. Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and get 3 or 4 people come up. Just come on up and we can speed
round,
speed
speed
round.
round.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, she has it written down.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. I sometimes get nervous, so I wrote.
You're doing great.
We all do. It's all good. Yeah.
Thank you. So first of all, I did want to thank you for the podcast. It really helped, especially last year because of Kazuki Takahashi. It really helped me. You have no idea. I get emotional talking about it. But on a lighter note, I had a question. First of all, Two Perfect Girls is my favorite song in Pokemon.
Thank you very much.
It is iconic. But on like, I had a question about like stuff like Two Perfect Girls or music to duel by, like,
Right.
did you guys pitch that to like the network, or did they say, hey, this is an idea? Like, how did that come about, like the Pokemon stuff and the
Right.
music?
So for those of you who are not familiar with the great works of Two Perfect Girls and Music to Duel By, so with Two Perfect Girls, the music department had written that song, and they actually, I think they wanted to use it in the musical, the Broadway version of it. They hired an actor to play Brock, but he didn't sound like Brock. So then they asked me to sing it. I'm the only voice actor on the Broadway cast album, because he looked more like him, but I sounded like him. But that was a song they wrote for me. And I love it when the characters sing in character. That we all like that. That's funny. And that was tough to do because I needed to sing as a bad singer and be out of time and going against the things that I'm supposed to be focusing on to do well. But Music to Duel By, I had to fight for. I wanted to be able to do something I was directing Yu-Gi-Oh! I thought we should do something with the characters. The music department was like, we don't need your help, voice director, voice actor, we get doing our own thing. And I said, no, I'm gonna do this. The album wasn't even planned, and I wrote that song, and then they built the rest of the album around it, and they even took that song, it's not even the opening track, it's the last track on the record, because I gotta be honest with you, it's the best track on the record, and they were just like, we can't start this, because we got nothing that can follow it. So yeah, it was a fun song. I did that with my buddy Questar Welsh. She helped me produce that. And a little side note about that, I know we're doing this quick, but I gotta tell you, we had not revealed all the pieces of the puzzle yet in the series. But I wanted to wrap each and every one of them. So I went to the main translator for the show and I said, you have to tell me in advance all the pieces of the puzzle. And he goes, I can't, we were not supposed to disclose that yet. For the American audience, I said, I need it for the song. So I sang it before it was in the show.
That's amazing.
There you go.
If there's some music to duel by too, Dan, will you sing in it?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Great question, though. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
Yep.
2 questions.
Yes. How do you do that without your mouth moving? Go ahead.
I can tell you, but I have to kill you. But
Yeah.
other than that, how much would Seto Kaiba be worth if he? How much would Seto Kaiba be worth if he was an actual, how to say this, billionaire?
But
How much would he be worth? Like,
how much would he be worth in billions?
yes, net
All,
worth.
all of them.
Yes.
He's an infinite billionaire.
Yeah. So whoever comes out next year and has X amount, Seto would have more.
Definitely richer than Elon.
Oh yeah.
He's a trillion.
Oh, I tweeted out something the other day where I thought that Seto Kaiba should run Twitter.
I did see that. I
saw that too. I saw that too.
I liked it.
I had a poll for that, and they voted for Seto Kaiba.
I'm down with it.
And a question for Dan. I know you voice act Trudge as well. I'm aware that Trudge was in the first Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
And he was the original bully, but then he
He started his own series called 5Ds, yeah.
Yeah, in 5Ds. Is he the same one? Do you think that?
Yeah, that's the idea, yeah.
So basically, Yugi set him straight.
I wouldn't characterize it that way, but that's a spin on it, yeah.
Nice, good questions. Thank you.
We have time for one more question.
All right,
That
speed
is it.
round.
One more.
So I got a question for Eric.
Yeah.
Now, Kaiba sasses everybody.
Okay.
So, what do you think you would say to Brock?
Ooh.
He would say, just because it's a shiny thing doesn't mean you have to keep chasing after it.
Thanks, man.
All right.
That's good. I like that. That's a good question.
So,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Why,
I
thank
just
you.
want to know, throughout the entirety of the Duelist Kingdom arc, what do you think is Yugi's biggest BS move?
There's so many to choose from, I guess.
In my opinion, I think it's
What?
attacking the moon.
Attacking the moon. Okay, I'll go with that recommendation. For me, as the person who portrays the character, I can never think of it as BS. You always, as an actor, you have to believe in what it is that you're saying and doing. But I take your word for it.
Yes.
And to the gentleman beforehand who said the comment about Trudge, I'm not sure if I understood what you said at the end of that. So please forgive me if I misunderstood you. Thank you.
Also, what is your opinion on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series?
So
Yeah.
that is actually something that is complex for us to address because Konami isn't a fan of that,
Yeah.
and we work with Konami, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's do
One
it.
more, one more.
All right. It's your move.
All right. So this question is for Mr. Green.
All right.
So during the first season, Duelist Kingdom,
Yes.
there would always be those awesome recycled transformation sequences.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my question is, during that, you hear Yugi.
Yeah.
It starts as Yugimoto's voice and then becomes the Pharaoh's.
Right.
Was that like utilizing some sort of piece of technology, or was that just how good you are as an actor with your voice?
I would like to be able to say, no, that was just me on one take. Because clearly you hear Yugi underneath Yami coming in. So you do that as two separate takes. It's very easy edit just to overlay them. And also, I love that there's this character called Shazam, right? And well, that's the word that Billy Batson says to turn into, right, to Captain Marvel, but that's a whole other story. So I grew up with that idea, and you can see the similarities, right?
Yeah.
Although with Shazam, it's a boy into a godlike male, and with Yugi, it's like I'm a kid. I'm a little taller kid.
Yes. I have
That
one
talks
more.
like a man for some reason.
I have one more belt buckle necklace on. What? How did that happen?
And what is that even? I mean, what's the utility of that? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm okay.
Maybe it's like some weird restrictive diet thing, because he was very skinny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that question.
Yeah,
We
great
appreciate
question.
that so
Yeah.
much. It is 2:30.
Thank you all.
I know that these guys are wrapping up here very soon. I know Eric is wrapping up at 3:30, and you are wrapping up at what time?
I'm able to stay later, so I
Okay.
guess 5 is the...
5, I believe.
Yeah.
So make sure you do get in your lines ASAP, because I know Eric is leaving in the next hour. So you need to book it if you're going there.
Yes, but thank you so
But
much.
thank you guys so much.
Yeah, good to see you guys again.
It's always good to see you guys.
Absolutely.
Can we go ahead and get a picture first?
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you guys. Please, everyone stand. Give them a round of
Yeah,
applause.
let's give a round of applause for these guys.
Thank you.
That sounded a little weak. It needs to be louder. Let's go.